For the first time in my life, I realized what a horrible, miserable, salvationless hell it is to be without money. This, I want to believe implicitly, man was born for, love and revolution. The weak fear happiness itself. They can harm themselves on cotton wool. Sometimes they are wounded even by happiness. Whenever I was asked what I wanted, my first impulse was to answer, nothing. The thought went through my mind that it didn't make any difference, that nothing was going to make me happy. Mine has been a life of much shame. I can't even guess myself what it must be to live the life of a human being. What did he mean by society? The plural of human beings? After being hurt by the world so much, they began to see the demons within humans. So without hiding it through trickery, they worked to express it. I like roses best. But they bloom in all 4 seasons. I wonder if people who like roses best have to die 4 times over again. I want to spend my time with people who don't look to be respected. But such good people won't want to spend their time with me. I shall be nothing, the wind, the sky. Anyway, you can be sure of one thing, a man's got to fake, just to stay alive. I yearn for everything long gone. In spite of my suffering, at the thought that I was sure to end up by killing myself, I cried aloud and burst into tears. Mornings are gray. Always the same. Absolutely empty. My unhappiness stemmed entirely from my own vices, and I had no way of fighting anybody. It made me miserable that I was rapidly becoming an adult, and that I was unable to do anything about it. I smiled, in my weakness. Disqualified as a human being, I had now ceased utterly to be a human being. I go about saying how pained and tormented, how lonely and sad I feel, but what do I really mean by that? If I were to speak the truth, I would die. I hope I meet lots of people with lovely eyes. Even now it comes as a shock if by chance I notice in the street a face resembling someone I know however slightly, and I am at once seized by a shivering violent enough to make me dizzy. The more I feared people, the more I was liked, and the more I was liked the more I feared them, a process which eventually compelled me to run away from everybody. My eyes would swim in my head, and the whole world grow dark before me, so that I felt half out of my mind. The world, after all, was still a place of bottomless horror. A good book is always good, no matter how many times you've already read it. No. You won't do. You've treated me nicely, yes, but only because you find me curious and amusing. It made me feel so lonely, somehow. I'm really just a foolish and useless person. Whenever anyone criticized me, I felt certain that I had been living under the most dreadful misapprehension. I always accepted the attack in silence, though inwardly so terrified as almost to be out of my mind. Humanity? Don't be silly. I know. It is knocking down your fellow men, for the sake of your own happiness. It would seem that the more irresponsible and crafty one is, the more likely one is to have a talent for storytelling. They scolded us for not having any real hopes or real ambitions, but if we were to pursue our true ideals, would these people watch and guide us along the way? I would far prefer to be told simply to go and die. It's straightforward. But people almost never say, die. Paltry, prudent hypocrites. Whenever I let the slightest thing make me forget myself, I can't help but be disappointed. Human beings are like that, though. They'll do the most unbelievably cruel things when you least expect it.